snow.
Just flying right through there.
Hey, there he went with like a trail behind him.
That's the butter zone.
We're in the butter zone. All right, so I know you had a couple things to talk about, but I'm going to interrupt that before I lose my train of thought here. And I was watching this movie, and you and I have dealt with many extras in our day, getting them ready and doing all that. And I think the dancing extras in this movie are really good.
There are some pretty decent dancing extras.
I mean,
yeah, and that's in the. Are you thinking specifically of Kate Libby's house party?
And then when they go to the concert and he gets on the stage and then they throw him off.
Oh yeah, what are those guys?
Yeah, I forget their names, but there's
Razor and Blade.
There's no music, and it's just them jumping up and down. And there were a couple weird looking extras, but for the most part, they really nailed the dancing. Like it seemed like people were really into it.
Yeah, it was like a total mosh pit there with the random urban dance squad band playing at that Hack the Planet concert.
And I'm not trying to mansplain production, but there was no music going on during this time, so the energy you have to keep up for this is pretty exceptional.
It is.
I mean,
yeah, because what they'll do is, obviously, for the listeners, they'll start a dance track or a playback track, and they usually only play it for like 5 seconds to let people get the rhythm, and then they cut it off, so then you can clearly hear the dialogue.
Yeah.
So then it's up to the extras to keep up that energy to non-existent music.
And take after take after take.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to throw out some props to the dancing extras. If you're a dancing extra in Hackers, send us a message. We want to know what it was like to dance on set of Hackers.
And was Urban Dance Squad actually a really good act?
And did it look crispy in the dark?
Were you guys in the butter zone?
I would say they were.
What's better, the butter zone or the danger zone?
The danger zone, I'd say butter zone. Like, man, you're in the danger zone. Like, danger zone seems to me like a highway to it. Like, you have to get there. But I feel like the butter zone just sort of happens.
It's just like a natural progression of goodness.
Yeah, like, you're dancing, and you just hit the butter zone. But when you're in the danger zone, it's like, that takes a long time. And then you get there. I mean, you don't want to be in the danger zone all the time. I would rather be in the butter zone than the danger zone. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think being in the danger zone all the time would be really stressful. But
you'd have high cholesterol and high blood pressure from that.
I feel like if you stay in the butter zone for too long, you could possibly get to the danger zone.
Yeah, I could see that. You're having too much of a good time. Eventually, it's going to lead to something you don't want to be in, something dangerous.
And danger zone implies a good or bad outcome. The butter zone is just smooth.
It's smooth as butter.
Oh, wait. All right. So I was drinking Yamazaki 12 last night. Delicious Japanese whiskey. And I had one of them. And I was in the butter zone with that one. I was happy. Then you have a second one, right? And you're still happy, but you don't really need it. But you're like, it's still good. Then you have a third one, and you're like, well, I'm not really enjoying it as much because I'm kind of buzzed. And then you have a fourth one, then you get in the danger zone.
Did you have 4 last night?
No, I had one. I just do one. I just do a nice little nightcap. But, you know me, man. I got to, wake up conscious and run and work out and stuff. And be conscious and not dehydrated and broke. I enjoy all those things. I like, so 1 whiskey, butter zone, 4 whiskeys, danger zone. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I think
when you put it on that liquor scale, it does.
I mean, same with donuts.
But you can't just stop at 1 donut.
I can.
No,
I have never enjoyed a second donut in my life when I've gone back for the second.
That's superhuman resistance then.
I mean, I eat it and I go, I didn't need it. The first one, I'm like, I needed this in my life. The second one, I'm like, that was too much.
No, the first one's like, that was good. The second one is what I need in my life. And then I've got to stop it from there.
And then me running, I would say the butter zone is after about a half hour. And it's from that, not a half hour. It's from half mile to 2 miles. That's my butter zone. But anything after 3.5 is the danger zone. That's when something gets pulled or an ankle just blows up.
See, I can't run. The knees hurt too much. So just even thinking of running puts me in the danger zone.
Yeah, but watching movies with running, you get in the butter zone.
Yeah, because it's not me running.
I think we nailed it.
That's a good call.
Butter zone. All right, so I was talking about these extras. You had a couple things to go over, too, on this movie.
Well, yeah, you wanted to talk about the setup for the Whiplash game. and the potential cost of having something like that.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you got?
So, for money wise, I mean, first of all, you're going to have nowadays a computer, a pretty high tech computer to be able to run that. It's going to have to be fast enough. You're going to have a good enough processor.
5,000?
Oh, at least, I think. At least. Plus, nowadays the screens, so if you're running that thing in 4K, and I mean, let's say that thing was at least a 10-foot screen, you're going to have, what, 6 65-inch TVs, something like that?
Yeah, and then you want a quality one, and I guess if you go to Costco, you can get one now, a 65-inch, all the trimmings for about $4,900, $4,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably about right. I mean, you're gonna want a 4K TV.
Yeah, so
you're gonna want it to be HDR.
So we're at 10,000 right now because you also have to attach the cables.
Oh yeah.
HDMI's, fast processor, probably a backup.
10,000 minimum.
10,000 minimum. But then you also need the console.
Oh yeah, the actual gaming console with the joysticks.
Yeah, I mean that's a couple grand. Maybe $3,000, because you have to set that up to a computer, and you probably need a technician on call because that's going to break a lot when drunk people are driving it.
Yeah, is this going to be at your home or is it at your whiskey bar?
I would never have this in my whiskey bar, Tom.
This
would be in my Jägermeister bar.
Your Jägermeister bar.
There's people flying everywhere.
I'm saying 15,000 to probably make it at least playable.
I would just, in my whiskey bar, I would play hackers. I would have darts in a corner so people aren't walking around it. Like I would have a little alcove where people can play darts and not have to stop because someone walks in front of it.
You know what this gaming club really reminds me of from hackers? Is the crazy hangout for all the foot soldiers in the very first Ninja Turtles.
With Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, where they're all like skateboarding around.
What a sweet pad they had.
They did.
And I mean, none of them ever get killed. They just get kicked in the head occasionally by Ninja Turtles. Like, it's not a bad gig.
No, it's not. I mean,
like,
very few of them ever got arrested.
This isn't like the John Wick world where henchmen just get slaughtered wholesale. There's just some injuries, like maybe a possible concussion, a spin kick to the face, a messed up jaw. I think they probably have mouth guards.
Which makes me believe that if they're getting injured this much, the Foot Clan must be offering some sort of insurance.
I mean, there has to be. And so, you know what? I think the Foot Clan... All right, so here's what I would do. In a world of superheroes, I would just hire them to basically... I would train them decently, but I'd just hire them to get beat up and keep the heroes busy while I drive away in a car. So I wouldn't need them there for personal protection because I could probably beat all them up. I would just need them there to keep people busy while I escape in a submarine.
In your Fast 8 submarine.
Yeah.
That can outrun Ferraris.
But, right? Like, don't you think that it's just like I would just hire a henchman to not protect me, but just to make sure that they get beat up before I do.
Well, yeah, it's all about the distraction.
I mean, especially in a day and age of superheroes. Because you're not going to win a battle against Thor with minions. You just want to hope that your minions allow you to get on your magical unicorn and fly away fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
Then you can get in the butter zone.
No, that's right. That's what it's about, butter zone. Just keeping it there. Avoid the danger zone as much as possible. Stay in the butter.
Yeah, you don't want to get... Your henchman can't be too wimpy because then you'd be in the danger zone quickly. Like, you want to hire mid-range. Like, John Wick 2, the assassins took orders from Ruby Rose who used sign language, so they had to hire henchmen who understood sign language. That's expensive. And they all got killed. Yeah. So I would just hire mid-range, get beat up. I'll take care of you with some insurance.
So then in the terms of hackers, that mid-range henchman is still Penn Jillette.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Dark Lord or the Plague or, Skateboard Boy still calls him like a worthless troglodyte turdweed, or he calls him like a dickweed or something.
That's right.
Yeah, he calls him dickweed. He says some pretty mean things to him that have nothing to do with the butter zone. And, well, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Do we have the insult he calls him? Nope, I don't have the insult. So he's just, insulting him. He's calling him a dickweed. But he still trusts him enough to run the security.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he insults Penn Jillette, but Penn knows exactly what's going on. Hey, we got a hacker who came through the back door. And it wasn't his fault. It was the woman's fault for using the God password.
Yeah.
So he's insulting a guy who did his job exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the ultimate, boss move right there. The guy's still doing your job, still doing the job acceptable. And, in terms of their standards, he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. But then you still insult him and put him down.
And there's no reason for it. All right, so Tom, you write about wrestling for Sports Nation, right?
Yes, for Blackheart Gold Pants.
So you write about wrestling. This is a big generalization, but let's say Daniel Cormier or Kurt Angle, right? Wrestle a high schooler, a state champion high school wrestler, and they're in their primes. They would take the state champion high school, they would take the state wrestler out pretty quick.
Yeah, they would.
But
very quick.
That doesn't mean that this state wrestler is a bad wrestler. He's just not as trained as the others.
Yes.
So after Daniel Cormier, a 250-pound Daniel Cormier pins a 130-pound kid, he's not going to be like, hey, dickweed, you suck. He's going to be like, you're a very good wrestler, you're young, I beat you because I'm 100 pounds heavier than you and almost an Olympian.
I'm an Olympian.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, those guys are like the pinnacle of their sport, and they were back when they wrestled too.
Yeah.
I believe Kurt Angle was a world champ. I don't think Cormier ever was, but he was an Olympian.
He had weight cut issues on the Olympic squad. But yeah, he made the Olympics. So I mean, you can't, if you're awesome at something, you can't tell someone who's really good at something that they're stupid. Can you?
Well, the Plague did.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
He is a jerk. He's a good jerk.
Yeah.
You would never think Fisher Stevens to be able to play, kind of a geeky badass, but that's what he is.
His sugar intake is scary.
His skateboarding technique is scary too.
Well, he sucks down Jolt and he has candy in his mouth at all times.
He's eating a bunch of licorice.
Yeah, he stays slim. And he's about 40 in this movie, so he must work out if he eats like that.
Well, he's in that VR machine quite a bit. That virtual reality machine.
Oh yeah, isn't he training? Like doing weird stuff?
He's playing some like first person shooter, I assume. You never know what he's playing. But he's playing it when is it Agent Gills comes in for the first time?
When Bunk comes in, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's how he gets his workout in. That's his butter zone.
All right, so he stays in shape through VR training. And just insulting his underlings.
Well, yeah, it's Penn. You have to.
So mean.
It is mean.
Did you said earlier that you love the soundtrack in this movie. What any jams that you like listening to the most?
Connected by Stereo MC.
Whenever that comes on the radio, because I have 90s on 9 on my Sirius, I just blast that song, and I just think about Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, and
was it in Deuce Bigelow?
Yeah.
Okay.
What a good.
Halcyon, On and On by Orbital, if I even said it right. That's the song in the very beginning where Dade is getting arrested as an 11-year-old. That's a really good one.
I was jamming out to this. I enjoyed it. I think Savage Garden was in here too.
And I believe Ian Softlead. Oh no, it wasn't him. There was some review that I was reading that pretty much just said that this is a romantic dance movie. When it boils down to, because all you want to do is just dance to this whole movie because of the killer soundtrack.
And then, the two of them have a pretty interesting relationship, Jolie and Johnny Lee Miller. Like, they got married afterwards, and then they split up. But when, they both have, sex dreams about each other.
Both wearing dresses.
Yep, they want to wear dresses. They want to take, he's like, I want to take you out for a date. And she's like, I don't date. And at the end, they have that nice pool. They have that nice pool scene where he spells out crash and burn.
Yeah, on the lights in the skyline.
I kind of like the relationship. They're equals, and he doesn't like. She wants to go to MIT. It's not like she's not going to quit her job like in a Christmas movie and move back to a small town to be with him. They're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah,
and probably go scuba diving together or surfing because they already have all the gear.
Well, they're crash and burn.
What a coincidence, right?
I think they set it up. I think they set up the alias names. Probably just for that.
Well, he didn't know. Remember, he set it up.
I mean, like the creators set it up.
Oh, of course they did.
Just so they could pull that off at the end.
Oh yeah, crash and burn. I mean, that's good. That shows thought. I mean, this is like I don't know, man. This is definitely his best movie because he also directed Inkheart with Brendan Fraser, K-Pax,